Hello folks and welcome back to our channel. Why haven't Toronto real estate prices crashed yet? Or did they crash enough for the buyers to actually get into the market? Even though we had all these interest rate hikes, the market actually was pretty stable. Yes, we did see some properties that have reductions of 10-20% in some areas. Outside core Toronto GTA, we have seen declines by 25 to 30%, which is definitely concerning, but let's talk about that together. So looking at the market, what is really going on? Why hasn't it crashed? Because a lot of buyers anticipated in the years of 2022, 2023, and even 2024 that we will see massive reductions in real estate. Although it did happen, as I mentioned, 10%, 20% in some areas. Toronto real estate started moving slower, sales started moving slower. There are a lot more inventory actually hitting the market and being more choice for the buyers. But it hasn't crashed the real estate market to that extent what most of the buyers were anticipating. So me talking on that side of the fence to the buyers, they're saying like, look, we want to see reductions to 50, 60, 70%. It's kind of hard to believe that we're going to get into that alley, especially now that we see all these interest rates kind of feathering off slowly. We see that Bank of Canada is slowly reducing these interest rates. And we all know when they go up, they can go up very, very quickly. But when they're coming down, they kind of seem to be sticky and they keep coming down in slow increments. What is the reason? I mean, we can debate that, together, right? I mean, like, why are they doing slow quarter point increments steadily over, few quarters? We have seen it like going in that direction. So I believe one of those reasons is basically keeping the mindset kind of stable. I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to say, hey, look, we're kind of lowering it slowly. We're going in that direction because people need it. The affordability is through the roof. Nobody can afford anything. But having said that, I believe they do not want to scare people in making a sharp turn and slashing off 50 points or an entire point because it might have a different effect. And what I'm trying to say, a lot of speculators, investors, or people in real estate will say, oh, hold on a second. They're saying everything is fine. Now we have reductions of an entire point. Hey, this is concerning. What is going on, right? So I think they're just trying to feather it off slowly. So now going back to the real estate sellers, through the era of 2022, 2023, and some 2024, people were holding on to their guns. They did not want to let go their properties. They like even when I was selling the properties, like nobody wants to hear of these price reductions. Like, they tell me, look, we can talk about anything. I don't want to reduce my home. Like no matter what you say to them, like, look, like we are priced in prime historical real estate graph here, like levels, like, and you're expecting the same thing, even though we had increases in interest rates, even though we have inventory that shot through the roof. Despite all of that, the seller said, no, we're sticking to our guns and we don't want to have any reductions. So the downfall of that is like there's no success, right? Like usually those listings either gets expanded or they expire and they just get stale and there's no showings, there's no activity on things like that, and we're just running in circles, right? So I asked myself, why? I mean, like you committed to be on the real estate market, to be exposed to the market and dealing with all these showings, dealing with everything, and now you are not willing to kind of participate in what's going on. And they simply say, no, I don't want to do that. I want a price. I set a certain price. And like I said, so basically what happens, downfall gets expired and we either relist it for a more reasonable price, because as we're going, this is what's happening. the prices are still declining. Even though we see what's going on in interest rates, we see the momentum heading in the right direction, but it takes time. It might take 6 months, it might take a year, it might take 3 years. We don't know, right? We don't know how long it is going to take to find that balance, or more importantly, to find the confidence. Because most people are buying with confidence. They want to be confident when they sink a particular sum of money. They want to be secure. They want to make sure that they can pay for this particular investment. They want to have that security and all of that stuff, right? But then you have these sellers and they keep popping up in these areas all over the place, right? The odd seller, right? So the odd seller is somebody who is like maybe desperate or doesn't want to play games, or who knows what they have going on in the background. Maybe they bought a couple of condos pre-construction, now they have to close, and that particular buyer of these pre-construction condos doesn't have the funds to fund this particular project or investment. So they have to find different ways how to do that. Maybe their mortgage rate skyrocket, right? Like insanely, right? And another important thing is like employment, right? If people feel or can smell the insecurity in their employment or in their sphere that they're doing business with, that's going to shake them, and that's going to translate directly into their bank account, right? So yes, I understand people working from 9 to 5. We can say they're a bit more stable when it comes to that, because in their head they know that they're expecting X amount of dollars on an X amount of date or week and stuff like that, and they keep playing that game accordingly, right? So, but on the other side, like you have, construction workers, realtors, commission only, salespeople, and so many other branches, right? Like the panic mode is all the time. It's non-stop, right? So these particular funds are constantly circling, right? Because there's nobody guaranteeing your income at the end of the week, month, and year. So the panic mode with these people are on all the time. It doesn't mean that they're right or not, but just understanding where they're coming from. So we have a couple of categories of sellers in today's real estate market, and then you might see that odd house that sold, 100, 150, 200, $250,000 below everyone else. Now, is that going to make a difference with your listing? Yes, it will. Will it impact it 100%? No, but it will impact it enough that it sets a different tone. So let me give you an example. If you have a listing that's $1.5 million, and then your neighbor is $1.5 million, and now that neighbor sells for $1.3 million, $200,000 off, right? So automatically the market will pressure, because how we're looking at it, we're like, okay, look, that sold for 1.3, so that's the next market value. Is your house going to be 1.3 necessarily? No, because if you're not as desperate, and if you don't have any burdens or financial pressures or maybe other pressures that are pushing you to sell, it's not going to affect you maybe to 1.3, but you will be in that ballpark. And that will set an average tone in your community. So now, what the future is bringing, it is hard to say, because mortgage renewals are here, okay, and they're coming in lump sums, right? Like the half of Canada will renew their mortgage from a low interest rate point, and it will double, right? So now those people that are working from 9 to 5, will they have a chance to find these extra funds? Most of them tell me no. We are usually stretched to a maximum or close to our max, and any additional burden on any additional fees or increments are not going to be good because we cannot afford it, right? So a couple of things. Either they're going to tap into their savings and maybe try to ride it out because the home is the last one to go. I get that. Or they will just throw the towel and say, hey, look, we have a chance and we can maybe downsize. Maybe that's the opportunity there. But, like those people that are commission based only, or they're working in these particular careers, that they have to manifest these clients and funds, and they have to basically make their own pay, right? So who knows what's going to happen there, because there's really no guarantees, right, ever for those people. But it will get even harder. So I will leave you with this. If you know anyone that could benefit from this particular video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and see you all next time. Thanks for watching.